So, is it possible to feel safe amidst uncertainty? We all love predictability. We want to know what will happen next, whenever we find ourselves in situations where we have no idea or we feel like we have no control over what happens next, we might find ourselves anxious, fearful, and uneasy. And when we feel this way, it is easy for us to make the connection that uncertainty is bad. And then we try our best to plan, to organize, and to control the events in our lives. But by doing so, we may be putting ourselves in perpetual cycles of dissatisfaction and suffering. So, is it possible to find a balance between predictability and uncertainty? Is predictability the same as security? Or can you feel secure living in uncertainty? Hi, I'm Dora, Holistic Stress and Resilience Coach from Dora Chen Yoga. Welcome to my Tuesday Weekly Connect, where we talk about various topics on how to achieve whole person wellness in body, mind, and soul. So today we're talking about feeling safe in uncertainty. But before we dive into the topic, I think it would be important for us to talk about why we might feel unsafe when we are uncertain. So, one reason is that we have been conditioned all our lives that certain behaviors, circumstances, or people, and so on, are acceptable. And then there are other behaviors, circumstances, and people that we deem not acceptable. And this may not be conscious. You may not be conscious that you are categorizing or judging these different scenarios, but we have them, right? We have been conditioned also to believe that we need to perhaps obtain certain material things, status, or to show up in a certain way in our lives to be deemed acceptable ourselves. So much so that we strive really hard to fit in, to appear successful, or at least normal, whatever normal means, right? In this construct of society, which we've created for ourselves. Now, in a society where we place so much attention on getting validation from others, we become enslaved to it. And when we live our lives for other people, instead of staying true to ourselves, over time we begin to lose touch with ourselves and what we need to be happy. And, on top of this, we begin to confuse other people's or societal expectations with our own needs and wants. And we center our lives around how to stay in relationship with others rather than staying in relationship with ourselves. And anything that deviates from what's acceptable in our society or community will make us feel unsafe. So then we must live on and live our lives in ways that we can predict, such that they don't deviate too much from societal expectations. We believe that we can only be happy under certain circumstances, and yes, these circumstances are deemed either favorable or acceptable by society or our community or people that we relate to. And we start to believe that these are our wants and needs, rather than beliefs that have been conditioned into us. So there is much fear and uncertainty. If you have lived your whole life feeding off external validations in order for you to feel worthy, you will do what you can to stay within societal constructs for fear of being rejected. But if you live this way long enough, you will realize that motivations that are based in fear will never truly fulfill you. You will continue to view uncertainty as your enemy. And in doing so, you can actually miss many opportunities in your life, which could bring you much contentment and fulfillment. But because, you want to live within this little box that we've created for ourselves, that anything that goes outside of it, we may not even consider, we may not even notice, right? Now, secondly, there will always be some level of fear around uncertainty. This is normal. I mean, of course, we will feel more safe if we knew what would happen next, right? This way we can be prepared, we can plan, we can, you know, just be prepared, right? Prepared mentally, emotionally, physically, what have you, for what comes next. But having said this, neither fear nor uncertainty are bad. We have just been conditioned to believe that they are. All of these conditionings that are driving our actions, behaviors, reactions, decisions every day, these are mostly unconscious to us. And when these are unconscious, we don't even realize that we're letting fear run the show. So if there are areas in your life right now where you are feeling unhappy, or if you feel like you want to shift out of whatever situation you're in now, in order to make this change, to make this shift, you do need some level of uncertainty, because change cannot take place without this transition of uncertainty. If you are dissatisfied with certain areas in your life, this means that you need to do something different, right? You need to do something new, something you haven't done before, something that you can't predict. And as Einstein once said, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. But it is scary to try something new. So hence why there's so many of us who remain stuck instead of we remain stuck because our conditioning is strong and we don't want to feel the fear. Now, ironically, fear is not as scary as you think. Fear actually gets smaller and smaller the more you are able to take the time to meet it, instead of suppressing it or running away from it. But how can we do this? Well, for one, we need to start shifting our perspective around fear. Fear is not here to harm us, even though its presence can be quite uncomfortable when it does show up in our life. One helpful way for me to think of fear is to interact with fear is to think of it as a messenger. iRest Yoga Nidra teaches us that all our feelings and emotions are messengers, trying to tell us something about our environment and ourselves. And believe it or not, our feelings and emotions are on our side, though we've been taught only to welcome some of our emotions and not others. Changing our relationships with our emotions, including fear, can be transformative. We no longer have to fear our fears. We can accept it, we can even welcome it in and see what message it has brought for us. And let me tell you, this is so liberating. Now, second, we want to be in connection with ourselves. Be really honest and honor what we need in order to feel happy and at peace with life. And source your energy from the love you have for yourself rather than from the fear of judgment. And lastly, for us to really stay true to ourselves and stay connected, we need to learn how to listen to our bodies. And we can't do very well, or we can't do this very well until we're able to welcome all of our feelings and emotions that speak to us through the body without filtering certain ones out. And I think this is probably one of the most difficult things that we need to relearn for ourselves after many years or even decades of conditioning in our lives. But if we can stay in connection with ourselves, if we allow ourselves to receive our feelings and emotions as messengers without judgment, you'll be able to find peace and security, even amidst uncertainty. Now, if you want to learn more about how you can begin to reconnect with your body, with yourself, learn how to welcome fear as a messenger, or if you need support to help you shift out of your conditioning so that you can live more from a place of love and authenticity rather than fear, do reach out. Book a free 30-minute consultation with me, or just DM me just to get started, right? I'm here for you and I want to be able to support you. So let me know your thoughts, your feelings, comments, questions, drop them below. And if you enjoyed this mini training, make sure to follow me at Dora Chan Yoga. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And I also have a private Facebook group called DCY Community, Supporting Strong Women Heal from Stress Holistically, where I stream these trainings live, but I also share many resources, tips, and tools and special offers in that group. So I'll drop the link in the comments below if you wanted to join us there. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Take care now.